Okay.
Okay. Who were we?
Well, here, I'll give you my card.
Okay.
Wayne Kruger.
So we have a problem with something that JW posted,
Okay.
supposedly.
JW, your son?
Yep.
And he's at the high school?
Yep.
Okay.
Do you know about it, or?
Well, I don't, I guess. Not directly, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe you fill me in.
He posted something on Facebook and what was the others? I don't know. A couple social media things.
Okay.
Said no. The title of it was "No Piss for Pratt." Pratt. I don't know.
Platt, yeah.
And then had a little summary of some stuff that was stated last night in the meeting about
And I was there at that.
the drug testing.
Yep, I was there.
So he got called in today.
Okay.
And was told
By whom?
What's the assistant principal's name?
Mr. Hesslinger?
Yes,
Okay.
Hessling.
Okay.
Asked to remove the title,
Okay.
or the 4 words off of the title.
Okay.
And JW said, okay, and pretty much left. Very short, because JW's been told not to answer any questions from anybody at the school. So he kept it short, kept it sweet, left, and called me.
Okay.
So I called him up. I called up Hessling, and I said, why are we telling him to remove it? That's his First Amendment right. He didn't bring it to school. He didn't do it at school. Somebody else brought it to school. So if somebody else brought it to school, that's the one who should be in the office, not JW. You are infringing on his First Amendment rights by not letting him. He didn't post anything negative about her. He didn't threaten her. He didn't do any of that.
And he was asked to take it down. Did he receive any discipline or
No.
any? Okay.
And I asked today, just now, I was just there.
Okay.
And I said, what will be the discipline if he doesn't take it down? And Hesslinger wouldn't. He just said, I don't have a discipline. He goes, I want you to go talk down here with you.
Okay.
And a lawyer if you want a lawyer.
Okay.
Which I said I'd probably get a lawyer if you guys say he has to take it down.
Okay.
Because it is his First Amendment to be able to put it up. If it was threatening, I can understand. If it was derogatory to a girl saying she's fat or this guy's got a big head or something, even that's First Amendment, but I can see saying take it down. That's not very cool. But piss for Pratt.
Well, I haven't seen the post, so I don't know, what the context was of it, or I don't know what just what you just told me is all I know about it.
Okay, so we should call Hesslinger and tell him to send it to you in an email so we can read it.
So what I do know, as a school official, I guess, is that you are right. The correct, accurate. The kids do have First Amendment rights. Absolutely, you have them. I have them. The kids have them. Everybody has them. And even the Supreme Court says they have them. So I mean, it's the First Amendment. I mean, they have those rights. However, what they do not have is they don't have the right to disrupt the learning environment. So if something is causing a disruption, and I'm not saying this did cause a disruption. Okay, I'm just stating that if the kids have First Amendment rights, and if something causes disruption, the school can ask or discipline students accordingly. So this is
really touchy. I'd be careful because he didn't cause.
I find it, and I'll say it in court of law or wherever with an attorney.
He didn't cause the disruption.
Whoever.
He can put what he wants on Facebook. If somebody reads it and is offended by it, they bring it in and they're saying it's disrupting my learning. That's bullshit because they have a right to block him. So that would be like saying this girl that read it that got offended. Let's say.
So people did report they were offended?
One girl brought it in or reported it. So she gets offended. That is not his concern. He doesn't have to not worry about if she gets offended. If she gets offended, she could block him from whatever social media she wants. That's her right. Because she blocks him, is he allowed to come in and say, she offended me by blocking me? it's disrupting my learning now.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's not. Grow up. This is the world. You are going to get offended. If you get offended, change the channel. Block it. Don't look at it. If it was a threat, I could say, yeah, good job, girl. Bring it in. Thanks for the throwing it in the air.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a threat.
Well, again, I haven't seen the post, so
I told you what it says.
Okay, if it just says "piss for plat," if that's what it says and that's all it says, without knowing any additional context.
Okay, well, let's get the rest of it.
Yeah, I don't have social media, so
I don't either. So let's call what's his name. He's got it. He can email it to you.
Mr. Hesslinger.
Yeah.
Uh,
The rest of it, I can tell you generally what it says is your guys' coach was there last night that spoke. Amerson or
Ambrosen. Yeah.
Ambrosen.
Yep.
One comment that he made, because I wrote it down word for word, was what we let them do, they will continue to do, or something like that. I can't remember the exact quote. I wrote it down when he said it.
I was there. It was something like that.
Yes. So JW wrote that. He said a quote from Amberson, wrote that, and then he said, I agree with you 100%, but the opposite way. You're taking my Fourth Amendment right, and when we let you take our rights, you'll continue to take our rights. So he used his exact words and used it on his side. And that's basically, and it explains the Fourth Amendment, I think, a little bit. But that's what the post said. And it said, if you agree with me, continue the post on.
Let me call and see if I can get a copy of it. Mr. Hessling, the post, I guess, or a screenshot or access to that. Do you have that, and can you forward that to me? You texted it to me? Can you email it to me? Okay. All right, thank you. He said he's going to email it. He said he texted it, but I don't know what that looks like. Oh, he did send something. He sent a photo.
Yeah, you can blow it up.
It says, no piss for plat. At the random drug testing meeting, Coach Ambrosen said that we will allow, that we allow will continue to happen. I agree 100% that if we let people take away our Fourth Amendment rights, they will continue to take away more of our rights. For the people that don't know, the Fourth Amendment is illegal search and seizure. If you disagree with me, I will happy to discuss this with you. My name is John Kendrick, and I am a sophomore. If you agree, please continue to spread this. Okay?
Nothing disruptive, nothing threatening, nothing. That falls under free speech.
Okay. Yeah. Without having, been in the building, I'm sitting here reading this right now with you for the first time, and not knowing what it's generating in the building. I can't say if it's creating a disruption, but you are correct. I believe that this by itself, without considering all that stuff, would not constitute, any kind of threat or any kind
Right. But he can't control what somebody else does. It's not fair for him to have to take down his free speech because 10 girls start something at the school and they are the ones causing the disruption, not him. It might be their disruption is something over he posted, but that's on them. That's not on him. If it starts causing a disruption because 10, 20, 50 girls start, or people, let's not even go girls, 50 people start going, this is crazy. I can't believe JW posted this. Da, 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 da. I can't learn now. That's on them. That's not on JW. And he should not be punished because of what their actions.
But I I thought I heard you say that he has not been punished.
Right, but I'm just going by what you just now said because you don't know what's going on at the school.
Right.
Up there in that building.
Right.
And I'm saying he didn't bring it to the building. He didn't post it at school. He didn't spend school time doing it. He did it at home on his personal stuff. If a group of 50 people at this school start going haywire because of it, he can't control that, and it's not his fault. So they're the ones that should be talked to and say, look, if it bugs you, block him. If you don't like what he says, block him. Don't look at it. It's the way the world works. If I don't like what Hillary Clinton says, I don't listen. If I don't like what Trump says, I just block it. Mm-hmm. I can't go cry to somebody and say he offends me. Trump's offending me. I just don't listen to it. And if we sit here and teach these kids that they come and they cry and JW is going to lose his First Amendment right because of it, it's wrong. If it was a threat, I can understand that. Mm-hmm. It's not. It's not a threat.
Well, again, not knowing whether, I guess we agree, and I guess, and then secondly, I guess I'm going to disagree with part of this because, again, as a school official, if it is disrupting the building, we have an obligation and a responsibility to have a good learning environment. So if something is disrupting the building, legitimately, I think we have a position that we have to move forward and try to correct that. So now
that's where it's going to get touchy because that's where I'm going to get a lawyer.
No, and that's fine, and you're certainly entitled to do so. But I all I've heard so far is that JW was asked to take it down.
He wasn't even asked to take it down. He was just asked to change the title.
Oh, okay. So he was asked to change the title,
right?
And he he wasn't disciplined. He wasn't removed from school.
Right.
He's not lost any privileges.
Correct.
So right now, I think why we're
JW is not going to change the title.
Okay.
I'm just saying that's exactly what I told.
Okay.
I'm just level playing field.
Okay. And again, he was asked.
Mm-hmm. You guys have a right to ask.
Right. And I guess in response, until it is proven that it's disrupting the building, I think my opinion is that JW can do what JW wants to do.
Okay. Then we're on the same page.
But again, I will tell you that, and again, we are likely in disagreement here. If it gets to the point where it's just the building's just chaos as a result of it.
Chaos is not against the law. Chaos is not bad. Chaos could be he and a group of 200 students or 100 students are trying to change against what you guys are wanting to do. You can't say we want to do random drug testing and then a group of people are protesting it and it causes chaos. You can't just throw that in there and say you can't do this because it's causing chaos at the school. They have a right. These kids have a right to protest a random drug testing.
Absolutely.
You guys brought it in. Absolutely. So we could put it back to you guys and say you guys caused the chaos because now there's 100 students that want to fight against the random drug testing.
And how they choose to do that, again, they have freedom of expression and freedom of speech. It's just how they choose to do it, and if that's his choice, as long as, again, I'm not over there. So as long as it's not causing a disruption to the school day.
So what if you guys are the ones that cause the disruption because you guys are doing this whole random drug testing? What if we take it back a step further? That was posted because of your guys' actions. So you guys caused the disruption. If you guys want to say JW caused it, I'm going to say you guys caused it because of the random drug testing. How far back do you want to take it? How many steps back? You cannot say it is JW's fault because 100 people see that and they go bananas over it. If he would have brought it in school, posted it up on every locker, put a big banner up across the cafeteria, I might be able to get in that same boat with you. He didn't do any of that. He put it on his own social media.
Right. But...
And I can still take it back and say, you guys caused the disruption because you guys are trying to implement a random drug testing. You guys have that posted everywhere. which is good, I think, because that us parents can get involved and the students can get involved. I think it's a good thing. Does it cause disruption? It might. It might cause disruption in the school. It might cause disruption for some of the kids.
Right, and I guess we're I guess hung up on the word disruption here. So disruption and chaos. If people are talking about it and people are engaged and people are passionate about it and people are expressing their opinions, that's not a disruption, as long as it's done when it should be done. But if it's for example, and this is in a math, let's say it's a math class and that's all that's being talked about, the teacher has the right to say, hey, we're not talking about that. We're going to talk about math.
Totally agree. 100%.
And if the kids say, well, it didn't have to be kids, but if somebody over there, kids, says, well, we're going to show that we're against this, in support or against it, one way or the other,
Right.
and we're going to get up and we're going to walk out and we're going to block the front doors of the building so people can't get in and out to be in protest.
There's a problem.
That's a problem.
I totally agree.
And that's a disruption.
Don't block the doors.
Yeah,
I think they should be able to protest on the sidewalk, but
yeah,
and I don't think they should leave the school to protest either. They should be in there learning.
And in the past, kids have done, I guess, peaceful protests for different things, and they have not gotten disciplined for doing it.
Well, that's peaceful. That's pretty peaceful. He didn't even bring it to school.
Okay.
And it just irritates me that I have to come down here and do this. The school should be telling him, more power to you. I'm glad to see somebody's expressing their thoughts and opinions in a peaceful way. That's what the school should be teaching them. And I think the school, just like last night, if you want my honest opinion on the meeting, last night, school did a one-way job on it. And to me, that's what you consider brainwashing. They didn't bring in an opposing view on this. Why did they not do that? Why did the school not bring in an opposing view and say, these are the facts we have found on our side, of the opposing side of why we shouldn't do this?
Well, I think that opportunity is going to be there.
What was wrong with last night?
Yeah, I didn't set it up. I'm not gonna say that, but I guess last night's purpose was to simply start the discussion with the community and to get folks.
Okay, so we brought in like 5 people for it and none that say it's a bad because of this. That would have been the best time. The first time we're discussing it. These are the pros. These are the cons. Do we even want to go down this road? But that's not what we did. We brought in the pros, didn't say anything about the cons, and said, do we want to go down this road? Because right now it's all rainbows.
Well, and people had the opportunity, if there was cons, people had the opportunity last night to put that down, and those are going to be shared publicly.
That's ridiculous. Number one, that's parents' cons. That's not a professional's cons. Like, you guys had all these people up there, professionals, parents, no professionals on the con side of it. Mm-hmm. I brought in flyers from the National Drug Association and ACLU.
And that's your First Amendment right.
That's it. That is my First Amendment right. Exactly. But that's the sad part, is that nobody's talking about the con side of it. And that should have been there last night with the pros. That way you have an informed decision both ways. Can I accept these cons if I take this and go with it? That was not presented. Mm-hmm. And that irritates me about this school. That is, and I call it brainwashing. And I feel that's what they do with the students. They don't give them this side and this side. They give them the side they want to give them. You need to give them both sides, and you say, okay, you need to make a decision as a young adult. And this is a prime example of it. He put a very simple post, didn't call anybody nasty names, didn't threaten anybody, and he's the one in that office. The kid that reported it, she should have been in one in the office. If it offends you, block it. Ignore it. Mm-hmm. JW has a right to post this stuff. She could have learned real life from this, and instead what she learned was somebody's going to be here to protect you. She didn't learn real life. She didn't learn that there's an opposing view. She learned that if I go in and cry, somebody's got me.
Well, again, you know, not to rehash this, but he's entitled to his opposing view.
Right.
And again, I've not heard anybody say we're taking that away from him. However, I can say, and again,
They should have never asked him to change the title. Legally, they can. I can't stop them legally.
Mm-hmm.
They can ask him, and he can deny. Mm-hmm. That's his right to deny that.
Mm-hmm.
So you are right.
Yeah, we may be done. I mean, we're with this whole thing, really, to be honest with you.
Well, I'm fine with it being done, but I did ask Hesslinger if there was a punishment coming, and he said he wanted to wait till I talked to you. He wanted me to talk to you, and he said if you need a lawyer, wait for a lawyer to get involved.
Well, and again, I haven't been in the building, but based on just reading that, is there going to be a consequence? I see no reason.
Okay.
But again, I don't know if it's causing kids to stand on their head and block the doors and start fires and whatever. I don't know that. I assume not, because I would have already heard about it probably. But if that stuff was happening, then we would have a different conversation.
I agree, and I told JW last night he should get people together and protest. But I agreed. You don't block a door. You don't block a driveway. Mm-hmm. Peaceful protest is you hold signs, and
I participated in that myself.
Which is exactly why I told JW, if somebody comes back at you, you can't talk bad to them. You can't say you don't know shit. You gotta say, let's have a discussion about it. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what it says there. Mm-hmm. Peaceful discussion. Don't, maybe they don't see this side of it. So you need to explain it to them, and you need to be knowledgeable. Okay. Which is exactly why it said that in there. Because I don't want somebody to send him a message and he goes crazy on them or whatever. If you're going to put that stuff up there, you got to have thick skin. Somebody's going to say you're a moron. And you can say, okay, sorry you feel that way. Or you can say, let's have a discussion about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, the discussion is great. And that's part of the learning process. But again, if it's causing people to go fist to cuff and et cetera, then again that's creating a disruption, and we'll have to go.
Well, that should fall on them.
Well, it would.
Not JW.
Well, I guarantee it would fall on them. But we would talk to JW, because we would say, and again, I'm not saying that this post would be that, but a post could be deemed to be causing that disruption, and we would ask somebody to take it down.
So it's just
they could get consequences.
So it's just a degree of what disruption you guys want to consider disruption.
Yeah, and kids talking about it, and kids feeling it makes me feel uncomfortable. That's not a disruption.
I agree.
Again.
That should have been a learning opportunity, is what it should have been.
Breaking the windows, starting fires, blocking doors, that's a disruption.
I agree. That is a disruption.
Yeah.
But it still shouldn't fall on him. It should fall on the other kid that did it. Because if JW does it, I'll be right there with you. His ass is mine.
It would fall on, in a case like that, it would fall on a lot of people. Not just the kids that are burning and fighting. There'd be a lot of people involved. But again,
so could we say the schools?
What if all day?
We could say the schools involved because they're the ones who started this whole thing with random drug testing.
Yeah, one could make that argument. So
okay.
Like I said, we could play what if all day.
Right. So. I hope it doesn't go that far. I think Hesslinger could have used that as a learning experience for whoever complained. He said it was a girl. I don't know. He could have said, people have opposing views. Just block him. Or ask him to explain his reasoning, or have a discussion with him. Yeah. Don't come in and cry about it. Yeah. It should have been a learning experience. Instead, she learned the wrong thing. I'll call him in. I'll get him in the office.
Well, again, I'm sure it's been challenged and updated, and there's additional cases. But, back a long time ago when I had my school law class, when we were being taught it. I think they referred to this as the Tinker case.
Mm-hmm.
It's if you Google Tinker case or whatever, basically, and I'm not going to say this perfectly, but the Supreme Court said that kids have First Amendment rights, and they don't shed those amendment rights when they come through the door.
Right.
I mean, that's what
I've
the
read
case said.
You're right. Exactly. Word for word. They don't lose their rights when they go to the front door.
The schoolhouse doors is I think the term. However, they go on to say
there are
some restrictions
Yep.
that if it's creating a disruption. So
That's
that's kind of in
But
general.
they mean at the school. And Tinker, they didn't say, it was so long ago there wasn't social media.
Right. And
But-
there's been cases since
Right.
then.
But they are allowed to post stuff on their social media. He didn't bring it to the school, somebody else did. If that girl brought it from home because she read it at home, she brought it to the school, she's at fault. If she read it at school, she should have been doing schoolwork instead of being on social media. So she brought it to the school, not JW.
Yeah, I think the legal term is nexus. So if there is which means connection. So if there is a connection between what happens outside of school and if it can be connected that it's being brought in or disrupting school even though it wasn't created at school, then again the school can kind of reach out on that a little bit and
It's touchy.
It is, but the school
That would go to the Supreme Court, I guarantee you.
well, an example would be and
Threatening.
Well,
If a kid threatens a
two
kid,
kids stand at a bus stop and have a fight.
Right.
Okay. Well, that didn't happen on school grounds.
Right.
It happened maybe in somebody's front yard.
Right.
But it
was a school function.
It was they were waiting for the bus. So
Right.
so the school could step out on that and
Right.
and be on solid ground, in my opinion.
I agree.
A kid.
Kind of. There's kind of. I mean, JW got bit by a dog at the school bus, and the school wanted to get involved, and I told him, no, I'm not letting you get involved. Too bad, so sad. You can ask me all the questions you want. I'm not going to answer them.
And again, we can sit here and play what if, but if again something happens, like somebody posts I'm going to come in and hurt people or bring
Right.
a gun to school on their own time, at their own house, on their own computer, that's going to disrupt the school.
Agreed.
And we can reach out and touch that.
I agree.
If a kid now where it starts getting less likely that school can reach in, if a kid takes his Chromebook home, which is a school-owned device, and does something like that, well then we don't have to have as much I guess gray area. It becomes,
Right, because it's on schools.
It's on the school computer.
The school owns it.
Yeah.
Which is why JW doesn't do that. Which is something else that drove me crazy over there, because JW got talked to about this before. They were posting on the school chat thing, blah, blah, blah. There's like a IM, instant messenger, where the kids can go back and forth.
Yeah, I don't know.
And JW was in part of the group, and his only comment in there was, we shouldn't be using school computers to do this. Well, I was brought into that school and said, that makes JW look suspicious. And I said, bullshit. I'm the one who taught JW. I have a work computer, and I have a work phone, personal phone. I have a work computer, personal. I do not do any of my personal stuff on a work stuff because they own it.
Yep.
Personal stuff, I don't do any work on it because if something happens at work, they can actually bring my stuff into court law, my personal stuff. If it's on my personal stuff, they can subpoena it and go through it.
I have work email, personal email.
Exactly. And they said he was suspicious because he put that. And I said, no, it's not. He's doing it the right way. I'm teaching him the right way to do it. Keep it separate. Keep your work, your personal, your personal. And I've done nothing except for fight this stuff. When we got the Chromebooks, I was in Todd's office. First problem with it was it came into the house and he could look at porn sites on it. So I came back down here, but everything of his at my house is blocked. And then they gave him a tool where he could. So they got that fixed pretty quick. I'll give that to Todd. Todd was pretty surprised, and he was
Yeah, I was surprised too. So, because we have basically a subscription to a filtering software.
So he was not happy, but he got it fixed. So that's good. But my question to him was, when we talked about these notebooks, everybody said it's going to be cheaper than textbooks. It's going to save the school money. We're going to then having to have textbooks for all these classes, all these students, blah, blah, blah. The Chromebooks will save money. Okay. So that was the spiel we were given.
By whom? Because I'm the business guy, and I never said that will save money.
That's what somebody said. Okay. I don't even remember. It was, 3 years ago now?
Okay.
I don't know if it does save money or if it doesn't save money. And I don't know if that was just a sell or what. But anyways, so my question is if it was supposed to save money, but yet I have to pay $50, is it $50 a year or $50 once or something?
Well, they have an insurance thing.
Yeah. So why do I have to pay that if the notebooks are cheaper? Yeah. If it saves money, you're still getting the same tax money for the textbooks. Why am I having to pay money for, if you ask me, it's just a way of tax. And then what really drives us crazy is that, I don't know how to say it nicely, low income doesn't have to pay it. It's just another thing that somebody gets for free, and that drives me crazy. Absolutely.
So I know what side of the fence you're on.
You can probably, I'm pretty much.
Yeah, well, you don't have to answer that. I shouldn't have said that.
I think if you want it to be equal, it should be equal. Don't say you want it equal and then say, well, I want this benefit, and this benefit. Mm-hmm. I'm the same way between women's rights and men's rights. You want it equal? Mm-hmm. You can open your own damn door. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's equal. If you want it equal, it's equal. I can play equal. I don't have any problem with that. And I'm a big, big, big advocate of our rights. And they're stomping on them. Fourth Amendment, they're stomping on them. Fifth Amendment, bringing them into the office, questioning them. I've sent a cease and desist letter to Todd. He has it. It's in JW's file. I don't want him being questioned without myself, my wife, or a lawyer there. And I've told that to him, and they continue to do it. Legally, they can. Legally, JW has the right to say, I'm not going to answer any questions. Mm-hmm. And I've tried to drill that in his head. Usually he goes in there, Halsinger will call him in. He'll say, yeah, okay, no, and out the door. He's very short with him. I keep telling him, I'm not answering any questions.
Well, and again, you are correct. That is his position. But again, as school administrators, their job is to make sure that kids have the opportunity in an environment to learn and they're safe. So that is their main goal. I'm not saying it should be. That is their goal, is for kids to learn in a safe environment. And if they have to question a kid because something's not safe or kids can't learn, then they're going to talk to kids. And I would expect them to talk to kids.
I agree, but by now they should know when we're calling JW in, we're just going to have his parents there to start with.
Yeah.
But that being said, I agree with you. But just this morning was a perfect learning opportunity for that girl. Mm-hmm. And she didn't learn from it. And it's sad to say that JW had to defend his way. He actually agreed that he would change the title just to get out of the office so he could call me. And he shouldn't have to do that. That taught him something completely what that school should not be teaching him. That school should be teaching him, this is your right. And they should have taught that girl, that's his right. Mm-hmm. Just block him. Ignore it.
Yeah. So again, I don't know what happened, but that we're going to agree on some things here.
So okay, I'm good with that. I wish somebody would talk with Halsinger and Hesslinger.
I'm going to do that.